So I'm Tim Bland. I'm an engagement manager for the National Lottery Heritage Fund, formerly Heritage Lottery Fund. We just wanted to really embed the fact that everything we do is made possible by people who play the National Lottery. Hey, thank you, National Lottery players. A quick show of hands if you've ever applied to the fund for money. There's a lot of hands. Hands up if you were successful. So everybody in this room is equally as equipped as I am to tell you about what you need to do to get a grant. And I would encourage you to put your hands back up if you've had money. Ask all these people for advice, because that informal peer support is really important in putting a grant. I can talk to you about the fund's aims for projects, but I think the experience of putting something together is always really good. So today I'm going to talk about these three things: our new strategic framework, which is to say the mechanism by which we will give you money over the next 5 years. We're going to look at the new National Lottery Grants for Heritage, and then there's going to be a bit on available support and how to apply, which is probably the exciting thing if you really want to get some money to make some exciting projects happen, and I'm sure you will do. It's been a really good couple of days, by the way, and very inspiring. So good to come out and see real heritage in action. So our new vision is to inspire, lead and resource the UK's heritage to create positive and lasting change for people and communities now and in the future. And all your projects to make young people look as amazed as this person here, which is a great picture. Really infused, and the better the helmet, the better. That's it. We need to get people engaged with heritage. Everything we do, from £3,000, which is our smallest grant, up to 3 million and beyond, is based on engaging with people. All projects will be assessed on one mandatory outcome: more people, a wider range of people, engaging with the heritage. I'm not going to tell you today what heritage is. Heritage is very vast. One of the most popular questions I get is, how old is something to be heritage? And I always say, well, you're old enough, sir, because it's invariably a man who asks me. And that's my pithy joke. So if you were thinking of that question, it's anything you want to hold on to and pass down to generations in the future. Anything. Songs, traditions, sporting memories, objects, artifacts, weird stories your granddad told you. All of those things. And I think in a sporting context, these things cut across everything. I love sporting heritage. I'm really passionate about it, but quite often when I'm up at Exeter City Football Club, I'll give him a wave, he gave us a good talk yesterday, we talk about, maybe people are a bit snide about sporting heritage, not real heritage, it's sporting. And I say, well, it is, number one. But the way I get around that when I'm talking is, I say it's social history. It's how we interact, what our relationship is to stadiums, to objects and traditions. It's always there, and we should really welcome the opportunity to engage with it when we have it. So, our funding priorities ahead are the inclusion of underrepresented groups, disabled people, young people, people from minority ethnic communities, LGBT plus communities, people from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, and I'd add to that anyone not engaging with heritage. Heritage that's at risk, whether it's an obvious risk, it's on a risk register, or whether we just know intrinsically that it's at risk. Community and local heritage, and landscapes and nature. Those are our key priorities, and sporting heritage obviously will fit across many of those. So many opportunities. I always keep a picture of a bat there because I do a lot of church workshops and people say, well, bats get in the way, we have to do them. But I always say, make the bats pay their way. You can do bat tours. You've got bats in a football stadium, it's great. Get the Wildlife Trust in. Do sessions. So everything works together. It's a holistic package of heritage. And that's the thing about sports. It's never just performance. It's never just trophies. It's never just results. It's the activities. It's the support. It's the songs that are sung on the terrace that change over time and no one really knows why or how, but they follow traditions. We should be recording those things, and those are at the heart of any engaging project. As I said, it can mean different things to different people. It's anything from the past that people value and want to pass on to future generations. It's not just SS Great Britain. That's an obvious one. It really is everything. And I'm going to keep reinforcing this point because one of the things I'm very keen on as a funder, and I get to come out and speak to people, but I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not here to say, no, your project's not for us. I'm here to make your project fit our funding framework. And sometimes I'll steer the project, but really it's your heritage. You're to define how it should be shared, how people will reach it. I'm just there to give you the mechanism. The Heritage Lottery Fund, National Lottery Heritage Fund, are very keen on a dialogue-based approach. We don't just send you a letter that says no. We want to work with you, and sometimes it's over quite a long span of time. It could be many years building up small projects, big projects. So I really encourage dialogue. And having said that, I will be disappearing at 12. So, but I'm going to put my email address up. So I'm based in the southwest, in Exeter office, but our area is London in the south. There's an office in Wales, where I'm going at lunch, that's why I've got a badge. There's an office in the north, in Northern Ireland, in Scotland. I can link you to your engagement team wherever you are in the country. Not just this country, any country in the UK. So we fund the following organisations: charities or trusts, voluntary groups, community interest companies, youth organisations, faith organisations, local authorities and parish councils, and private owners of heritage assets in cases of clear public benefit under £100,000. And a really good kind of way to look at this is we also fund partnerships of all of those, because partnership working will strengthen any project. And there we go, Exeter City Museum Trust, on the day they opened the new Stagecoach Adam Stansfield stand, we got to go in and take some pictures. And we made a little video about that project for the fund that we put on our social media, because it's a really nice lesson for us as an organisation to see how they created something that responds to the heritage of Exeter and the football club. And working in Exeter, it was a really good opportunity, so thank you very much. We fund grants relating to museums and collections, community heritage, landscapes and nature, historic buildings and monuments, industrial, maritime and transport, cultures and memories. All projects must clearly be related to UK heritage, well planned and budgeted, and must meet our new outcomes. So we're going to move on to the outcomes of funding. Got 15 slides. All right, okay. It gets a bit more detailed in a minute. Again, I'm going to just say we fund everything. So obviously sports isn't there, so don't worry, because sporting heritage cuts across all of these things. You may want a museum, you need to find a way to get there. It's definitely community heritage. Historic buildings and monuments, if you have a stadium or a ground or a space where you play, a park, a recreation field that's been there, ticks those boxes. Industrial, maritime and transport, that's a bit more of a challenge, but obviously maritime's not a challenge, but team bus, old tractor that was used to take the rugby team on tour. These things happen a lot in Devon. These are things and stories, and it's cultures and memories, and it all comes back to that. These are just stories we want to collect, keep, and pass on, and cherish, and share. We want to share them with more people, and it's a great privilege to do so. If you're a custodian of heritage, the challenge is to keep it and pass it on in better condition than it came to you, and that's what I'm here to help you with. So, this is probably the really interesting thing if you're planning a grant, so I'm going to walk over here. If I can point. I'm going to talk about processes for grants. So if you're not into grants, it might get a bit boring, but I love a grant stream. So £3,000 to £10,000, it's a single round application. That means you will have a project idea. You will go to our website, you will read the guidance, you will write an application and share it to your friends and check it works. Maybe share it to someone who's already completed the project. Say, does this look like something they'd fund? You will then submit it. You can submit it anytime, there are no deadlines. In 8 weeks, you can have a decision on your project and you'd have a year to deliver it. So this small grant, a really quick way to get money out, make projects happen, small projects that may develop, or small projects that will do everything they need to do. So I wouldn't be involved in that at all, unless you want to speak to me. I'm happy to speak to you about small grants. But we tend to give specific, tailored advice at this level, the medium and large. So if you have an idea for a grant and you say we want £10,000 to £100,000 to create a project, again, it's a single round application and an 8-week decision, and then you have 5 years. So we're quite quick, we're quite an agile funder. I know 8 weeks, that's quite a long time really, but for funding, that's really quick. But you would put in a project inquiry form for these projects, telling us what you'd like to do, where you'd like to work, who you'd like to work with, how much money you'd like, and then myself or one of my engagement team colleagues will give you some specific, tailored advice, and we begin that dialogue-based approach to funding. And it really is a dialogue. You know, sometimes it's an email, sometimes it's a meeting, sometimes it's a series of phone calls. And it's designed to be as accessible as possible. We then move to 100 to 250, which is absolutely the same as before, only we go to a committee decision. So we have a panel of trustees who meet, make decisions, and we have quarterly deadlines, and it's a 12-week application process because the larger grants are larger, more complex. And then 250 to 5 million. We have 2 stages. I think if you're thinking of a project that's over £250,000, the earlier you speak to us, the better. And rather than explain the process, we would engage with the engagement teams through the normal channels. That's our grant streams. new outcomes of funding. These are the things you need to do in your projects to get your money. So the one thing that all projects have to do is at the top, a wider range of people will be involved in heritage. Absolutely. Without wide ranges of people, without reaching people, a project really can't achieve anything. We need to get more people involved, especially if we work in niche areas of heritage. One of the great things about coming to a conference like this is we see how infused everybody is, and that enthusiasm, it rubs off on you. It makes you feel motivated. And sharing those stories, it's the same if you share it with audiences. The more enthusiastic you are about your heritage and the more you want to engage a wider range of people, the more sustainable you are in the future. Moving down the list, heritage will be in better condition. Heritage will be identified and better explained. People will develop skills. People will have learned about heritage, leading to changes in ideas and action. People will have greater well-being. Your organisation will be more resilient. The local area will be a better place to live, work or visit, and the local economy will be boosted. So I think all the projects we heard from yesterday have the ability and are actively engaged in this. Certainly resilience, that was a really interesting session yesterday morning. Developing skills, we saw that in the Exeter City project and others. Heritage will be better identified and better explained, so if someone comes to you with a wardrobe full of objects, you're immediately going to get involved in identifying and explaining that heritage. But all projects do the top one. You don't have to do all of these, you do the ones that best fit for you, but the top one you have to do, and to keep reinforcing it. Unfortunately, that's the one, well, it's not unfortunate, but that's the one we need to do. If that's a challenge, that's where you talk to an engagement manager such as myself, and we work out ways you'll manage it. With our investment, a wider range of people will be involved in heritage. It's so important, it's got 2 slides. There will be more people engaging with heritage, and this audience will be more diverse than your project started. We spoke about the types of groups we'd like to work with, but you know at the moment who you're working with, you know how to diversify that audience, and that is something we would take from you. You would offer a steer, and then I would offer some suggestions about other groups you might want to be involved with. Dementia action groups, we saw a lot of those in those projects yesterday. Those are really good, and sporting heritage, a really good way in. I always encourage you to think outside of, I don't want to say outside the box, but outside the penalty box. Let's make it sporting. Right. We want as many people as possible to benefit from our funding, including National Lottery players, because they make it possible. On the subject of National Lottery, we do a little thing called Thanks to You. So if you're a lottery-funded organisation, we would encourage you to come up with an offer to say thank you to lottery players. So for instance, over the summer I was able to go and see a film at the cinema, a local cinema that had lottery funding, because I had a lottery ticket. My £2 got me a cinema ticket. So that's just something in the back of your mind, always good. We would like your projects to enable people to tell their own stories, to find their own responses to the heritage you're presenting them. We want you to introduce new audiences to heritage and share experiences, increasing the confidence of participants and gaining new insights for your organisation that will hopefully make you more resilient in the future moving forwards. Other things we'd like your funding to do. People have greater well-being. Sport is great for well-being, unless you're a Tottenham fan like myself, in which case it's very negative. But individuals will feel more connected to the people around them and the place they live as a result of involvement with your project. This is what we mean by greater well-being. And this can be defined anything. It can be a very light evaluation. How did you feel before? How did you feel afterwards? It could be a focused study designed to improve the well-being of a group of individuals. It's really worth seeing, and we've got a lovely sporting image at the bottom, of course. It's really worth you defining this. I'm not going to tell you how. It's for you, but absolutely, you can do it, and you will do it. And finally, we would like environmental sustainability to improve. All projects expected to deliver against this requirement, proportionate to the level of grant request. Gains for nature are particularly valued by the fund. Reductions in environmental impact should be achieved by all projects. And that really is just what it says. So where possible in your project, please make it more environmentally sustainable. It could be local resources if you're building, working with local producers, or it could be putting in a back walk of biodiversity. So that introducing a wild garden, a pollinating patch, something similar, will achieve this outcome in a good way. So, who's got an initial heritage project idea? Let's put those hands up again. Only 2 people have ideas for projects? My word. Oh, there we go, there's more, right, okay. I brought my large novelty checkbook. I wish I had one. So, what you should do with your idea is absolutely talk today to people about your idea. That's a really good way. Talk to me whilst I'm about. But read the application guidance and plan your project. So go on to heritagefunds.org.uk and read the guidance. And then when you're done, read it again. It's a bit wordy. It's a bit tiresome, but it will tell you everything you need to do. Once you've done that, send us in a project inquiry form if it's over £10,000 and get advice from us. And within 10 working days, myself, one of my colleagues will be in touch, inviting a meeting or an email saying you should do this. Or, to be honest, if it's not for us, then we would just say it at that point and we can have an honest conversation. And then you may develop your ideas differently. You go away, you work on your project, you apply online when you're ready, or by the published deadline if it's over 100,000. We will assess your application and then you'll get a decision. And then you'll go and make great work happen if you're funded. Which is, it's really nice to see so many different projects yesterday that were Heritage Fund, including this museum. I can see the logo over there on the wall, which is nice. It's really rewarding. Hey, look, that's not an Arsenal shirt, I have to be very clear. That's me, but that's a Benfica shirt, so please don't call it an Arsenal shirt. That's me playing some football, so if you need a 30-goal striker, he's a bit overweight and losing his hair, I'm your man. But most importantly, there's my email address, not just for football inquiries, but for emailing me with projects. So like I said, I'm happy to link you up with your local area. So if you do email me with an idea, tell me where you're from, what part of the country you're working in, and then I will offer some assistance. If I can offer some very general feedback on what to do next, I will. But if I can connect you to someone in the country, I think that's, in your local area, that's a lot more impactful for you. It's been great speaking to you. Thanks.